It's May 19th, 2023. We have another Carpool Weekly giving you the video game news you need to know about. I'm Court Lalonde.
And I'm Seth Sturgill.
If you like our Carpool content, please leave us a like and or subscribe. Our first story of the day, it's kind of a big one. It's literally a conversation that Steph and I were just having and we can't stop talking about, but PlayStation announced their rumored showcase for next week. It will be on May 24th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time, and just over an hour, according to the press release. It isn't a state of play, so it does look to be this big E3 rollout presentation style that we've been looking for. So start the hype train. Now, the press release does state some things that we're gonna be doing a little bit Always Sunny in Philadelphia here with what they say in this press release. So bear with us here. So they say we'll see a wealth of new games and new IP are headed to the PS5 and the PSVR 2. It also mentions a spellbinding game from a third party. My guess is Hogwarts Legacy. So the speculation is flowing, and I hope none of it gets spoiled. We're looking at you, Walmart Canada. This is, I want this to be all a big surprise. So
yeah,
for me, my hype train is going. I was just talking to Seth about this. Sony Ben put out a tweet yesterday, and it said, we've been around for 30 years, and we can't wait to show you what's next. In the image, you see Days Gone, you see Uncharted Golden Abyss, you see the games that they've worked on in the past. And I was theorizing with Seth that I think that's going to be possibly the Uncharted game. And the reason being is because they showed Uncharted in the live from PS5. I really think we're about to get a huge showcase that we haven't seen in, I don't know, 4 years now?
At least, yeah. They've been, it's really important to highlight what you said. It's not a state of play. It's a showcase. And this thing is apparently over an hour in length. That is long. A standard Nintendo Direct is like 40 minutes. So, that's a big, meaty showcase. And I think that it's totally possible. A lot of, Sony's first-party studios have to have something ready to go. Like you're saying with Sony Bend, we were looking, Days Gone came out 4 years ago now. It's time for them to come up to bat again. Something like Spider-Man 2 is probably going to be here. We know that game's coming. It's probably coming in September. That's got to be ready to go. All these rumors of Konami stuff, like Metal Gear 3 remake, like Castlevania, I think that's real. And so this is going to be an exciting presentation. It really does feel like the kickoff of the E3 season, and I'm happy to see Sony kind of taking control of that.
100% agree. And I can't stress enough, their press release pretty much tells us everything. They usually say this is what's going to be. And this time they did. They say it's going to be new IP. It's going to be new games. It's going to be PSVR 2. I am hoping, as someone that has the PSVR 2, I am honestly really hoping we get some crazy Ghost of Tsushima, VR 2 experience, or
cool.
an infamous VR, something just awesome in the world, or God of War. Hey, you never know what we're going to get. But let us know in the comments. What do you think we're going to see? Because honestly, next week is going to be big.
Yes, I know we're going to be live reacting to it right here on the YouTube channel. So definitely hang out with us there for that. But Court, our next story, of course, everybody's talking about it. Gotta talk a little Tears of the Kingdom. It's broken sales records for Nintendo, so let's get into that a little bit. The game has sold over 10 million copies worldwide. Did that in just 3 days. It is now the fastest selling title in franchise history, on pace to be the best selling game of the year so far, which currently Hogwarts Legacy, good old Hogleg, holds that currently. According to figures from market research from GfK, the title sold 54% higher than Hogwarts Legacy. The Zelda franchise, of course, launched in 1986, has sold over 130 million units worldwide. Court, 10 million units in just 3 days. That's Pokemon numbers. That's crazy.
It is absolutely the fever that I have seen from this game. As someone that is an elder statesman in the gaming world, I have seen the amount of social media posts of people that don't really play video games, or I didn't think they did, that are playing this game. And I even look at those franchise numbers of 130 million units sold, and they've already sold 10 million. That is a huge percentage in a 3-week period. And we were, if I go back to the system seller, which was Breath of the Wild. This game, I know we talked about it last week, it is going to sell Switches by the millions.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild ended up, I think its lifetime, it's sitting around 30 million. So they did a third of Breath of the Wild's lifetime sales in the first 3 days.
That's crazy.
Massive game, dude.
Let us know in the comments. Are you playing it? What do you think of it? Do you think it's all the hype lives up to ever? Just let us know. Our next story is, honestly, which is kind of funny, this we honestly thought was going to be the big story of the week, and it's now our third story because the other two we just talked about are bigger. But the EU has approved the $69 billion ABK deal with Microsoft, and the CMA has clapped back on Twitter. So, responding to on Monday's EU decision, Sarah Cardinal, CEO of the Competition and Markets Authority, which is the CMA, suggested that the EU Commission was wrong to approve the deal. Honestly, that's just hilarity in itself. The UK, this is, and I quote, the UK and the US European competition authorities are unanimous that this merger would harm competition in cloud gaming, Cardell wrote, which is contradiction to an approval. Still, the CMA concluded the cloud gaming needs to continue as a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice in a rapidly evolving sector. Still quoting here, Microsoft's proposal, accepted by the European Commission today, would allow Microsoft to set terms and conditions for this market for the next 10 years. They would replace a free and open competitive market with one subject to ongoing regulation of the games Microsoft sells, the platform to which it sells, and then the condition of the sale. There's more to it, and we'll have a link to the article from VGC that goes into depth into this. But to me, right off the bat is, I still don't think CMA gets what video game is. We've already had Google. We have Amazon trying. Everybody's trying this cloud gaming. Guess what? The infrastructure is not there. And I don't even say in 10 years, maybe, but to say that one game, which is Call of Duty, would control the whole gaming, cloud gaming market, is that pretty much just saying there's only one game we all play? Like, I don't really understand this. As someone that doesn't really even play Call of Duty anymore, my only thing I looked at this was like, I love Diablo. I'll definitely want to play that if it hops up on Game Pass. But like, I think this is kind of obtuse. They're really saying that this one game, because they can't be talking about Xbox games that they have in their staple right now, because they don't move the needle for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really funny because none of it matters. The CMA can have this stance. Doesn't matter. If the European Commission disagrees with them, they're the ones that get the final say, and they're the ones that have approved it. So the CMA can, throw a fit about it if they want to, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, this is what is happening, and it's one of those things. It's like the Matilda thing. Like, I'm big, you're little, I'm smart, you're dumb, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's that sort of thing.
Jesus, we went from Babar, now we got Matilda. I just love bringing in all these childhood things. I even think it's hilarious that if the US does approve it as well, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft's just like, all right, whatever, UK, figure it out. You ain't getting the games on Game Pass. We're still going through with the deal. It is what it is. Have fun with it. You know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to get NordVPN within like a minute.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, Court, our next story, we have a little bit of maybe bad news for old Blizzard because they have officially scrapped the planned PvE co-op mode for Overwatch 2. And as you can probably imagine, the internet is not thrilled about this. During a Blizzard live stream, executive producer Jared Ness, I think is his name. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Sure, nailed it. He said, quote, "Development on the PvE experience really hasn't made the progress that we would have hoped. The team has created a bunch of amazing content, so there's awesome missions that are really exciting. There's brand new enemies that are super fun to fight, and some truly great and ridiculous hero talents. But unfortunately, the effort required to put all of that together into a Blizzard quality experience that we can ship to you is huge, and there really is no end in sight or defined kind of end date when we can put that out into the world, and so we're left with another difficult choice. Do we continue to pour all of that effort into PvE, hoping that we can land it at some point in the future, or do we stick with this set of values we've aligned on and focus on the live game and focus on serving all of you?" What that means is we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term power progression. Those things just aren't in our plans anymore. So this is kind of an interesting thing. This was a big selling point for Overwatch 2 before the game came out, is that they were finally doing some PvE stuff. It sounds like they're still planning to do some PvE stuff, but not to the scale that they initially promised. And that's unfortunate. I know that things change in game development all the time, and especially as this stuff becomes more and more expensive, but I know there are a lot of people disappointed by this.
Yeah, it's just as someone that doesn't play the game, I reached out to some people that play the game, and their exact words were, "Then why did we get an Overwatch 2?" Because
Right.
there's no difference between the previous game and this game. It's like they're just trying to get the money. They're putting in more they're trying to put all these microtransactions and all these back end things and these battle passes to get more money out of the players, because they're like, "Hey, look at this thing that differentiates, and that's why we need Overwatch 2." And then they're like, "Yep, guess what? So you're not even going to get that thing." Like, it just, I don't know, man. Sounds shady. Like, wow. Once again,
It's unfortunate.
it's terrible. And hopefully, you know what? If the deal goes through, maybe Microsoft can fix this. I know they went hands off with the whole Bethesda, Minimax. You know
Yeah.
what? Doesn't matter. I'm going to say it wrong. I know they went hands off with that. My hope is if this deal goes through, they don't do hands off with this one and don't listen to the masses and just get in there and fix things, because Activision Blizzard, it's a disaster.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you're an Overwatch 2 player, we would love to hear from you and see. I mean, do you feel burned by this? Are you okay with it? Let us know.
Our next story is about a game that, you know what, it's from a studio that it's all it is just leak, 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 leak. They honestly, they need the Mario Brothers to figure this out and just fix the leak. Because according to reports, Assassin's Creed Mirage is delayed to October, a game that hasn't actually been given an actual release date. But it's a Ubisoft project, so there's a ton of leaks, but there's already a delay. So I wonder if Ubisoft just plans these leaks as a way of like PR to get the game out there and get people talking about it. Because at this point, we are literally talking about a game that has had one trailer, nothing been said about it. We've been given date after date after date from rumors, and now we're being told that it's not even coming to October. I want everybody to take this all with a grain of salt, but the person that is saying all this, we have the link in the article down below. It's not coming from Tom Henderson, who's the one that usually is, I would say, 98% accurate about his Ubisoft information. But no one is denying this. So we will see, because we do have, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a Ubisoft Forward. But I see this as being true. And the only reason I say that is because Assassin's Creed games always come out in October. Like, always.
Yeah. Yeah, to me it seemed weird. The initial date of August seemed weird to begin with, and we talked about it on this show. It was like, that seems really close to me. So this makes a lot more sense, and it is really funny, like, that the date that was never even actually announced has been delayed. So, but we'll hear about this soon. We know Ubisoft's got their summer showcase coming too, so we're gonna hear about this one way or another very soon anyway. So. Yeah, but let us know. Let us know what you guys think. Next up here, it's kind of funny, Court, because Sega is now kind of fallen in line with people like EA and Sony. Sega now looking into raising the prices of their games. They said in a statement that, quote, "review the prices of titles that we believe are commensurate with price increases," end quote. That basically just means we are going to increase the prices of our games to be more in line with the kind of current status quo of video game prices. The standard USD $69.99 retail price has kind of been the case for a lot of companies, and it seems like Sega is sort of announcing that they are looking into moving that to be their standard with their game prices too. So
I was laughing more at, like, we're going to review the prices. No, you're not. You're just
yeah,
like, as a
just gonna
Canadian,
do it.
your games are $89.99. In fact, game like Dead Island, that was 101. Like,
Yeah.
games are very expensive here in Canada, and I know they are in other parts of the world. And for Sega to come out and say, we're just going to review our pricing, I could bet your bottom dollar that the next Persona game or next Sonic's game, it's going to be $89.99 or that $99. It's just, it is what it is. I get it. And at this point, I read this press release and I'm looking at it and I see the Discord behind it, and I'm just like, why is anybody even mad at this point? Like, what does it even matter? We're still going to buy the games. they're gonna do it, but I guess we
Is what
want to
it
just
is.
yell about it for a bit because inflation, like there's nothing that can be done.
It is what it is. It's just the new normal now, man. You know, that kind of just, and the thing too that I always like to drive home to people is that gaming is a luxury hobby. You know, like it is a premium hobby, and we do, you know, it's just like any other luxury hobby. It's just like if you're gonna go play golf or something, you got to buy the expensive golf clubs. You got, you know, it's like it is a luxury. You know,
like it's like you're giving me like PTSD about it. I stopped golfing after my injury to my neck. Golf is so expensive. That is extremely good point. It is what it is. Just stop whining about it.
Yeah.
Well, that was another episode of Carpool Weekly. We hope you found the information informative, and please leave us a like or a comment, or, you know, just let us know what you thought of the episode.
We'll see you next week, guys. Bye.